What's going on, Dexter fans? Now, I wanted to mention something really quickly. Last week's review on Dexter episode 5, every time I would speak about Angela, I kept saying Allison. Uh, First of all, I'm bad with names, period. And second of all, with Angela and Audrey, her daughter, it really made me confused with other names, especially Molly Park, who I kept forgetting her name too during the review, and I'm like, oh shit, what's the podcaster's name? What's the podcaster's name? Oh yeah, Molly Park. Angela is who I was talking about. Angela, Dexter's. I don't even know if she's still her girlfriend after his girlfriend after this episode, but anyways, it's Angela, not Allison. Second of all, this show definitely puts the brakes on compared to episode 5. Episode 5 was like that definitive middle episode, and episode 6 definitely puts the brakes on that. This one has two big themes. One is Angela finding out that the Jim Lindsay's true identity as Dexter Morgan and confronting him hard on it. And I like how she did the same thing that she did in episode 1, where she pulls him over and he thinks that she's going to do the whole foreplay thing, but then she tells him to, follow her directly to the station. So that was pretty intense, and that's where, like, their relationship is in absolute turmoil, but she does mention something at the end of this episode, so we'll get to that in a bit. And the second thing is Molly Park's podcast and Dexter's realization that she could possibly be looking for him, especially since she's making the Bay Harbor Butcher one of her last stories or one of her definitive podcast like finale stories kind of thing, and since she's going so hard on it. But although this episode is a little bit slower, it's still really good at progressing what the last one started and bringing forth a little bit more questioning as to where things are going to go in a more subtle way, kind of thing. But with what's his face, Harrison being offered that job, Dexter is skeptical about it right away. This dives right into the bad parenting thing again. Dexter is just in complete loss of what to do with Harrison, and their relationship again. It's so tough, and it's hard to watch. I would say, like I said, this show has been giving me anxiety right after like episode 3 onwards. Just there's so much happening that is so dark and it's kind of depressing too, especially with the environment being like a snowier, darker environment. I don't know. It's just there's something about the show that's really, really intense. I love how Molly Podcast swears so much in her podcast, and it's even called "Mary Fucking Kill," like 3 or 4 times as much as she does in real life. Like she'll drop the F bomb here and there, but on her podcast she turns right into Deb. It's absolutely hilarious. My favorite aspect of this episode specifically was definitely the therapy session, where Harrison, first of all, brings up abandonment again, which he continuously does, but this time he says, like, I feel abandoned, like, right on this couch, meaning, like, right in this moment, I feel like I'm being abandoned by this guy sitting right beside me, who claims, and not claims, but is supposed to be my father. And Hannah is brought up again. Even Dexter's quote during therapy where he mentions that, his ex-wife Rita, he said our marriage fell apart, and Harrison's like, you mean mom was murdered? kind of thing. So Dexter's still completely empty of empathy and empty of emotion completely. He has no capability of having any relationship with anyone, and this is where Deb's dark passenger on him through the whole season is that much heavier of a burden and brings him down so much more than he already is being brought down. And it's over and over repetition of how much Dexter has to deal with in one plate that he just can't juggle all at once. I love when Harrison goes over to talk to Audrey, and of course they end up sleeping together for the first time, which is way, way, way overdue. I mean, I'm surprised that this is the first time in episode 6 that they haven't, because the tension and their chemistry was just so obvious that it took a long time for that to happen. But her busting out nunchucks when she thinks that it's like a burglar breaking in or something, the last weapon I thought she would be good at using or even have by her bedside as a self-defense option would be nunchucks. So random, and it made me laugh so much. And then Chief Bishop, Angela, Chief Bishop, walking in on them, and she's like, "That's Chief Bishop to you," and Harrison calls her Angela or whatever he calls her. And then she like drags his ass back home to Dexter, and she's like, "Fix this or handle this or something." Yeah, that would be pretty awkward to have turmoil going in hers and Dexter's relationship, and then now have a blossoming thing blooming between her daughter and Harrison. And I use quotes because, like I said, it was already so obvious that they were into each other. And then Molly Park ending right in the rabbit's den, like taking the bait like no tomorrow. Obviously, she wasn't expecting it because all she wanted was an interview with Kurt, and but the way Kurt just took the opportunity and pounced on it right away, you're like, oh shit, she landed right in it. And I didn't know that cabin of Kurt's where he takes the girls to stay in the bunker, in the room, whatever, was so far away from Iron Lake and so isolated. But that's good to know because it makes a lot more sense as a perfect location to hide all his criminal activities in and keep everything low key as he likes to do. A lot more, I'm going to quote again, truth coming out in Kurt's lie and the reason why he lied about Matt, because in the interview with Angela, he just made like 3 times more lies. So we still don't have an exact idea what his motivations are and what his end goal is when it comes to all this lying and all this bullshit about Matt, because we don't really have a motive for his killings at all. When it comes to, we know his routine, his ritual. We know that he likes to snipe the chicks after a few days of leaving them in the bunker, and we know that he likes to perform these blood transfusions or whatever he does with the body. I like the scene where he had that like Phantom of the Opera looking half white mask made out of clay that he put on that girl with the blue hair. I'm blanking on her name right now. I know her name was mentioned, but I forget what it is right now. With the blue hair. Very good looking girl too. It's unfortunate that she died, but and then it doesn't work, so he just starts like smashing the thing right on her face. And it was cool too. I thought we were gonna have a third victim. I was like, oh, here we go. What's gonna happen now when he meets that girl Winnie? Love how you remember Winnie's name, but not the blue haired girl. Fuck Dex. Um, yeah. So I thought we were gonna be introduced to a new girl, but no, she took off with her boyfriend. Good for her, getting away from Kurt. But yeah, it was like, oh, we have a third one now. What's gonna happen here? But that was cool. And then the finale of the episode, where they're going back and forth between the wrestling match with Harrison, and as soon as before the match started, I and Harrison, like the way he talked to Audrey earlier about he wants to hurt people all the time, I knew he was gonna go ape shit or something. He was probably gonna break the kid's neck or something like. And then when he had his arm around him, I'm like, oh, here it is. He's not gonna let go. He's not gonna let go, and there's gonna be a murder now. Harrison's gonna be tried for murder. And well, fortunately or not fortunately, he ends up just breaking his arm. But the main thing is when Angela, not Allison, Angela finds the Iris's body because she sees the bracelet and knows it's Iris. My only question is, how is Iris still that much intact after all these years? She would completely be a skeleton, I would assume anyway. And she's underneath those rocks and everything, and she still has an arm and a hand. It's more like dried up, not really decomposed, but I don't really see how that would happen. Like, I guess maybe with the dust and the coolness of that cave, it would probably make it a lot more like a grave. But I would still expect her body to be way more decomposed. And I guess her seeing the bracelet, that's her automatic assumption that it was Iris, because she certainly wouldn't be able to look at the freaking skull and just assume it's her. But I don't know. I just looking at that body, I figured it would be a lot more decomposed than it was. That was my only question about that part. Other than that, I really like how her last words were, "I'm not looking for Jim. I'm looking for Dexter Morgan," or "I need Dexter Morgan right now." Crime scene blood splatter analyst that knows exactly what how to determine a death and exactly what she needs there and then is how Iris died, because that's been her obsession this whole time. But yeah, so I think I covered everything. I'm just pretty much quickly flowing through it, but I think I covered everything that I wanted to talk about. My favorite part was the therapy session, like I said. And like I said, although this episode did go a little bit slower than the other, it still was paced okay. It didn't feel too much like a filler episode. But yeah, that's it. The scene where just before Kurt was gonna put Molly Park in that room and Dexter shows up, that was pretty intense too. I like how Dexter just uh, just welcome like totally takes control of the situation and like just makes himself feel at home by checking the bathroom and everything. I'm surprised Kurt didn't freak out a little bit more and kept his cool in order to not be have more suspicion brought up onto him, even though Molly and Dexter pretty much are in agreement that something's going up or happening with Kurt. But now that we have both Jim Lindsay and Dexter Morgan revealed, especially to Angela, but now that this is like all surfaced, it's going to take some interesting directions on having, as more people find out that Jim Lindsay is actually Dexter Morgan, I think we're going to go into some interesting places. And as for Harrison, it's still a little up in the air in my predictions, because I don't know if he's going to go full killer mode, if he's going to have an accident. I think I mentioned this before, but I think if they lead to a place where either Dexter's going after Harrison or Harrison's going after Dexter, I don't think I'll like that too much, because a father-son, confrontation to murder, or like one of them wanting to kill the other or both of them wanting to kill each other, I don't know. I think that's a little too extreme. I can see them both accidentally dying somehow more than I can see them wanting to go after each other, but that's all spectacle. I'm I'm mostly interested in who's gonna see Dexter that already knew Dexter. Like I said, I don't think Batista's coming back, but I wonder how Dexter's gonna be exposed, if he's gonna be exposed to somebody who already knew him from the past. That would be, in my opinion, the perfect place to take the episode, is somebody who already knew Dexter from Miami and figures out that he's still alive, and then where the show goes from there. But that's enough banter right now for Dexter episode 6. Stay tuned for my reviews on these. Go check out the other ones. Go check out all my reviews on the channel. I just finished Chucky last week. So yeah, subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews, or show reviews in this case. And I'll be back for more, so stay tuned for them. Take care, and cheers. Till next time.